Appreciate you all being here. This is a wonderful day. The Cubs won, and so nothing is going to screw me up today. Not even Huffman can get me upset today. We are going to be happy and move forward here.
I thank my colleague. I think all of us would love to know when we get to start that discussion about examining this law, because we've been talking about it for the 3 years I've been in Congress. We knew the expiration of this fund was coming. We saw it coming. We've had a bipartisan bill from Mr. Grijalva on the table now for months. We've been asking for hearings for months. I agree with my colleague, Mr. Whitman. It would be far better to do this in regular order. Let's have hearings. You won't give us the hearings. I don't know what we have to do to begin this elusive discussion that everybody thinks we need to have and has been saying for 3 years that we need to have. Meanwhile, last week, this fund, for the first time in history, expired. So I agree, regular order is better, but at some point, when you deny regular order, we have to act. We have to move if we value this fund. Now, this fund is a bargain. This is a basic compact where these public leases are offered up to private entities that extract oil and gas offshore, and they make a lot of money. In return, a portion of those royalties goes to these conservation and public access purposes. That's been an essential bipartisan bargain that we have honored for 50 years. If you're going to move the goalpost, if you're going to say the environmental side, the public access, the hunting and fishing side of that is now expired, we're going to let it lapse, then quite frankly, we ought to shut down offshore drilling right now until we can get back to the point where we honor the deal. Maybe that'll get folks' attention. Maybe we can finally begin this elusive regular order discussion that has been in your control all along. But if we can't do that, let's just vote yes on this amendment now and get this issue moving. This amendment is not a gotcha attempt to put some of you into awkward votes against the LWCF on this amendment. If I can get a commitment from the chair, from the committee, that we will move in a reasonable time frame towards regular order, toward hearing, towards a vote to get this done, I will not request a recorded vote. I'm not playing politics with this issue. I just can't, I think many of us just can't wait forever while this fund expires and all the good work that it supports is left to wither and die.
I promise you that if, reclaiming my time, I promise you that if I move all 37 spots up to the chairman, that you'll get a vote.
I have said all along, we're going to reauthorize this thing this year. There's going to be a bill this year. There's going to be a hearing this year. I have said it before. I'll say it again. So if you want to take you up on that offer, you can. I won't give you the rest of the speech on why. No, I'm going to give you the rest of the speech because you have to know why we're taking the time. We are going to reauthorize it, but we're going to do it the right way. 40% of these funds already by law should be going to the state projects. Only 16% are. The administration is misapplying the law. And if we're going to move from the $300 million annually appropriated to $900, and I'm going to be advocating for that, I want that money to be used to do something well to help people. It's got to be good, and it's got to be big. This administration on LWCS has no vision. They just want a slush fund, and I will not tolerate that. We are going to do it. We're going to do something good for people, and we will have a hearing, and obviously I've done that. So I'll yield if you want to withdraw it, and we'll move on.
I'd like a more specific commitment this year is...
Do you want to withdraw it? Or I'll yield if you want to answer that question, if you want to withdraw it.
Yeah. I'll wait until the debate is closed, Mr. Chair.
Debate's almost ready to be closed. Is there anyone else who wants time? No. So, debate's ready to be closed. Do you want to withdraw your amendment?
Mr. Chairman, will we have a chance for a hearing and a vote on
Yes,
Mr. Grijalva's bipartisan bill?
I yield back the time. Is there any further discussion on the bill? If not, we're ready for the vote on the amendment.
I'll ask for a recorded vote.
Fine. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. No. Recorded vote will be asked for. Is it? Cubs win, Cubs win, Cubs win. Clerk, another Cub fan, will call the roll.
Mr. Bishop.
No.
Mr. Bishop votes no. Mr. Grijalva. Mr. Grijalva votes yes. Mr. Young. No. Mr. Young votes no. Ms. Napolitano. Ms. Napolitano votes yes. Mr. Gomert. No. Mr. Gomert votes no. Ms. Bordalia. Ms. Bordalia votes yes. Mr. Lambourne. Mr. Lambourne votes no. Mr. Costa. Mr. Whitman. Mr. Whitman votes no. Mr. Sablan. Mr. Sablan votes yes. Mr. Fleming. Mr. Fleming votes no. Ms. Songus. Ms. Songus votes yes. Mr. McClintock. Mr. McClintock votes no. Mr. Pierluisi. Mr. Pierluisi votes yes. Mr. Thompson. Mr. Huffman. Mr. Huffman votes yes. Mrs. Lummis. Ms. Lummis votes no. Mr. Ruiz. Mr. Ruiz votes yes. Mr. Banashek. Mr. Banashek votes no. Mr. Lowenthal. Mr. Lowenthal votes yes. Mr. Duncan. Mr. Duncan votes no. Mr. Cartwright. Mr. Cartwright votes yes. Mr. Gosar. Mr. Gosar votes no. Mr. Byer. Mr. Byer votes yes. Mr. Labrador. Mr. Labrador votes no. Ms. Torres. Ms. Torres votes yes. Mr. Lamalfa. Mr. Lamalfa votes no. Ms. Stingle. Mr. Dunham. Mr. Dunham votes no. Mr. Gallego. Mr. Gallego votes yes. Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook votes no. Ms. Capps. Ms. Capps votes yes. Mr. Westerman. Mr. Westerman votes no. Mr. Paulus. Mr. Graves.
No.
Mr. Graves votes no. Mr. Clay. Mr. Clay votes yes. Mr. Newhouse. No. Mr. Newhouse votes no. Mr. Zinke.
Yes.
Mr. Zinke votes yes. Mr. Heiss. Mr. Heiss votes no. Mr. Radowagen. No. Mr. Radowagen votes no. Mr. MacArthur. Mr. Mooney. Mr. Mooney votes no. Mr. Hardy. Mr. LaHood. Mr. LaHood votes no.
Or anyone who has not yet voted? Anyone not recorded? Clerk will report.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the yeas are 16 and the nays are 22.
Amendment is not agreed, and you're going to still get your hearing. All right. Next amendment is Mr. Fleming.